Welcome back. In our last lecture, we have seen the React forms, how to handle those forms in different environments. We have seen the control form and uncontrolled forms. Now, in this lecture, what we will see how we can fetch few information from our REST API and can display in the forms or into our reports. So there are basically two major mechanisms with which we can access the information from our server and display it onto the user view. One is called the fetch, which is built-in mechanism which is available in our basically React. You don't need to do any type of configuration for this. Fetch is already there. And second is Axios. You can use this. We will see both. So let's start with the fetch to implement our CRUD operation. Since all the data we want is stored in an API, the fetch is how we request that data. So basically, fetch is the mechanism with which we will fetch the information from our REST API. This is used as in Angular. We have seen the HTTP client service. HTTP client service calls our REST API and receives the data. Same fetch actually calls the data, calls our REST API and gets the data accordingly. We can also specify how we want to get the data in return. That means JSON format, you can convert that into a JSON format, etc. So what is the mechanism? By default, the fetch, URL and options. Here fetch, and this is the URL of our REST API. Then we can provide different type of options dot then, and when the result will be returned, then we will perform any sort of function on this our response. And if there is an error, we will provide a network error, etc. So URL is our REST link, and option is what we can apply to this basically fetch. So what are the options? Options are the method. By default, it sends the request with get method. You can specifically mention the method with the post. You can specify the data you want to send. You can specify the header you want to send, or the credentials. So these are all the options that can be assigned with your fetch request. In last example, in this example, if we send the request, it is by default is with the get method. In this layout, the request will be with the post method. And after getting the response, you can see is you can see the status. What is the return status? What is the status text? What is the header which has been sent by the server? What is the URL with the response.url? Any string information that has been sent, and return text. You can see this. So there are multiple information that has been returned with the fetch request. So you can call REST API accordingly. So we have seen the method, the body contains the information that needs to be sent to the server. Headers, the information here you can set your JWT token or etc, whatever you want to apply with this. So the credential authentication method, and default is the omit. By default, it is actually not for any type of credentials or authentication. You can say use the same origin, include the credential is requested to the same site, or you can use basically the include, and with the include you can default you can use the bearer and etc, whatever the technique you have used to implement the authentication. So these are the options that can be applied with the your fetch application. In a response, we can have multiple things, as we have seen the status, the status number, the status text. OK means actually the true, or OK boolean. We can see status dot sorry, that response dot OK, that means the response is OK, is 200. Headers and the URL, these are all the properties that are available with the response. Whatever the server has sent to us, it contains these information. And you can convert that information into text, into JSON, into BELOP, into array, or into form data, whatever the layout you want to apply. Whenever like for example, the response from the server is a simple text, you can convert it using .json, like response.json. Now the response will be converted into a JSON object. Error handling, for that you have basically you can use try catch, you can use if else, it's up to you. You can use callbacks or you can use promises, it's up to you. If you want to use the promises, you can use the dot then method or you can use the callback method. uh, Both mechanism is applicable and available in using fetch. Life cycle hooks, there are different life cycle hooks on which you can apply the fetch, but there are mainly 2 points. Whenever the user demands, then you have to access the REST API. Like a user want to see the number of students, for example, then you have to fetch the information from the server, or you whenever the component will be loaded. So these are the 2 points at which you need to call REST API. We should never fetch any data in render method. Keep in mind, we cannot call a REST API into our render method, because render method will be called again and again and again, so that needs to be a pure function. Or our API calling must be in some function or in basically our lifecycle hook. The best lifecycle hook will be component mount. If we want to fetch the data whenever the component will be loaded, it is the better approach to imply it into component mount, because at that moment the component has been created and you don't need to call it twice. So after creating the component, this component mount will be called one time. So alternatively, data will be available to you within your application at the start of your component load. So this is the best practice, which also recommended by the React. So better to write component fetch into component mount or a specific component. Here you can see we have a component mount. In it we are calling the fetch, and on the response we are converting that response into JSON, and that response data will be used onward for our manipulation, whatever we want to do ahead. There is another example. Here you can see basically API. You can apply that API plus default query and then get the response and get the information from that data. In our renderer, we are not calling any sort of basically our basically this fetch API. This is another example. You can see we are in it this dot set pictures, and before that what we have done, we have fetched our REST API from component mount, and whenever the result will be available, then the results, then we converted that result into JSON, and then we have converted that data which has been returned from this JSON, and we have used that data to map each of element of the picture and display it, etc., whatever we want to do with that data. So this is a way out with which we can access fetch or fetch information from our REST API. Before going on this, I will show you another example in my code. As I have shown you in last lecture, you can see I have called a fetch method into a simple method, not into basically component mount. We have two wayouts. If we want to fetch data at the start of our application, then we will use component mount. But if we want to submit data to the server at some particular point of time, like in this case, whenever the user will submit that information, will press the submit button, then this function will be called. In it, what we are doing after calling the function and setting the value, we are calling the fetch API. API is a variable which I have declared at top, and you can see I have called the API, and then the method is a post, and we have stringify our data, and we have applied the header, and on the response, if the response is okay, record added successfully. That means if a success message will come from the server, 200 status 200 will come, it will show us basically recorded it successfully. Else there will be error, and we are displaying the response status text. Whatever the error, we are throwing that error to the client. So this is the way out with which we can apply basically fetch. Now back to, there are some cases where there is some issue where you have to wait the response from the server, because it is asynchronous communication, and a processor can move on and will not wait for the fetch information. To do this, we have to apply await and async, and that allows us to wait for the response for asynchronous request. We have to apply it. If we want to apply this await, what we have to do, we have to call the async at the function level, and in that async we have to await, write the await word before the fetch. No, and we have to await for the conversion also. So by doing this, we are explicitly telling the our basically processor that this is an async method. You have to wait till the time this fetch returns us the response, and then you have to wait also whenever this response will be converted into JSON, and after converting the JSON you will move on. So this is the way out with which you can basically stop the processor to process on and wait for the results. Another way out is try catch. You can put that into a try catch, and in this you can apply the wait, and doing this the result will be the same. This is another way out. You have applied the async, then the try catch. If there is an error, it will catch here or send the response. There is another way out, and that is promise.all. In this way out, it will wait till the time all the promises have been fulfilled. So this is a third way out with which we can apply basically a delay or wait for the result till the time the server has responded us whatever the output it want to display us. So promise.all, this can be an option. Async method with try catch, and async with await. Simple async await, async await and try catch, and you have promise.all. This is all for waiting for the output. There is another experimental way out, that is suspense. This is still in experimental state. It has not properly in a stable version, because very recently React has started this. This is the way out with it started with React 16.6 added a suspense component that lets you wait for some code to load and declaratively specify a loading state like a spinner while we are waiting. Like this, in this case, we are importing a profile page, and we want to when we want to apply this profile, where we are calling this profile page, we have applied a suspense basically component over it. Now till the time this page is not loaded, it will show you a spinner till the time. So suspense is alternative of await, async, and your promise.all. It is a new mechanism with which it can wait. So this is an example. Now here it will load the profile details, and it will load the profile timeline. For both, if it is taking time, it will display loading profile and loading post. You can show the spinner also, or you can show directly the message also. So this is the fallback option. If this is not available at the moment, this will be displayed. So this is the way out with which it is handling delay from the server. So you can apply any of these. So this is the first part. Now we will come with the Axio in the second part. Thank you.